Jeremiah's rhetoric about becoming one with the universe mirrors the constant demand to become one with the score. Both require the erasure of the individuals to serve a grand static design. When I put this question into Gemini about the you compose, we perform mentality being similar to the cult of Grey 17 is missing on Babylon 5, the next thing I had to rephrase what they said because they said the Zarg in the wall is the cost of compliance. I call it the Zarg in the concert hall. Jeremiah's cult lives in constant fear of the Zarg, concert hall, a predator that they have allowed to share with their space. They justify its presence as part of the natural order, even though it consumes them. So, what's happening in terms of the you compose, we perform mentality is that the performers are taking this mentality and letting it consume them way too far. Way too far. Like Jeremiah's followers, the performers may normalize the Zarg of physical collapse or whatever, because the high priest has framed the work as being more valuable than the vessel. I'm just floored. After studying keyboard injury with Dr. Barbara Lister-Sink, I'm just floored. I don't think if I had studied keyboard injury prevention, I do not think that I would have seen these parallels with this concept of the you compose, we perform being taken too far. Jeremiah's power comes from the fact that he is the only one who knows the secret level. He controls the narrative of the space that shouldn't exist. The parallel, this mirrors your point on systematic dependency, because the composer's intent is an invisible metaphysical thing. The performer cannot access it directly. They need a mediator. Not a meteor. Well, I'm going to be eventually talking about Hale Bopp, so that's appropriate. Conductors and scholars act as Jeremiahs, guarding the missing level of the urtext, so the original unedited score, and telling the performer that their own instincts are heretical or uninformed. Again, I'm going to say one exception I'm giving is Gregorian chant, because that is a more refined, nuanced thing that in the case of vocal singing, there's specific improvisations and presentations of it that are appropriate and some that are not. The Cult of the Invisible. Feature. This is again comparing Jeremiah and Vertroya. Jeremiah. So space. A level deleted from the map. Vertroya. The performer's body agency deleted from the work. Rhetoric. The universe is one, you are nothing. That's for Jeremiah. Vertroya. The work is absolute. The performer is a window. The threat. The Zarg. Predator in the dark. Vertroya. Physical issues at the instrument. Control. Isolation from the outside world. That is Jeremiah. Werktroya, rejection of personality or somatic history. By linking the Werktroya to Jeremiah, you are suggesting that the purity of the musical work is maintained only by hiding the messy biological reality of the people who can actually sustain it. I'm going to stop right here and say that imagine if you were learning a Bach invention at the piano, and then you decide to learn Rachmaninoff Concerto Number 3 the next day without even looking at the score. That is incredibly dangerous. That is incredibly dangerous. The concert hall becomes Grey 17, a place where time stands still and the inhabitants are taught to love the very system that erases them. Not all concert halls are like this, so that's my modification. This is a profound synthesis by connecting the Grey 17 metaphor to the imaginary museum of musical works. You've identified the exact mechanism of high control aesthetics, the creation of a hollow space where the human element is treated as an inhabitant of a level that doesn't exist. When you ask if this is similar to Jim Jones, People's Temple, or Marshall Applewhite, Hale, Bopp, Heaven's Gate, you are moving from a literary cinematic metaphor into the harrowing reality of totalistic systems. The parallels are startlingly consistent across three specific vectors. So replacement of the obvious, risk in terms of what could go wrong with movement, and promised transcendence. Thank you, and take care, and see you in part 3.